How you doing, everybody? It's March the 2nd, 2010, and it's just after 9 o'clock in the evening, and as you can see, I've got the gardening outfit on me, so just bear with me. I'm a bit shattered. Anyway, got a couple of emails from people, and they're not happy with me. They say I'm a bit too negative, and I never talk about anything positive, and well, this is about politics and about economics. It's not good at the moment. So it's just the way of it. I don't make society, but I had to think about when I was outside working. And what I've done is, at the end of tonight, I'm going to do this little post, and I'm going to try and make it short. And at the end of it, I'm going to draw up a little list of 5 things that I think that if people did, it would improve their well-being, financially and socially, etc. Okay? So it's just my little contribution to the whole thing. Okay. I want to deal with 2 things, both relate to Ireland. One, they're both banking matters. One's the biggest bank in Ireland, and the other is the smallest bank in Ireland, and the difference in attitudes and what's going on. Okay. The first article is from today's Independent, and it's a report on the accounts relating to AIB, which is Allied Irish Banks, and it's the biggest bank in Ireland, okay, the biggest retail bank. And it has a loan book of, I think, of about between 120 and 140 billion. It's a huge bank, okay? By Irish standards, it is. It's a big bank. Anyway, it tells you they lost, on their books, they lost 2.65 billion. That's the first thing. And their head honcho was a fellow called Colm Doherty, and he goes on to tell you that things are very bad, and that he says that the current retail banking model we have in Ireland is quite dysfunctional. We're currently, we the bank, AIB, are paying more for the money that we borrow than we are charging our customers, and that ultimately is unsustainable. Okay, so he's painting the picture for more rate increases, higher interest charges, the whole business, as we said, and further credit constrictions. So credit's going that way like the rain, and everything else is going that way. Okay, so but one thing he didn't deal with, which is in the report, which is very, very interesting. It tells you what the impaired loans are, or what they estimate the impaired loans. So you must remember, this will all be very conservative by anybody's standards. They are saying that the impaired loans that they have on their books are 38.2 billion. They call them criticised loans. Like, you can call them whatever you like. They're liabilities to me and to anybody else. That's what they are. They're liabilities. They should not be on the asset side of their books, but they are. That's how banks work. But anyway, well, at least they're admitting, and that represents almost 30% of their total customer loans. Boys, oh boys, oh man, on that bank, unbelievable, isn't it? Nearly 40 billion, 40,000 million euros. And then on another little article, which is a link that they relate to a guy that they get nearly $1 billion to. He's a Greek poker player. He was on the TV about a year ago. I stayed up to watch one of those financial channels from America. And I think it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was 8 o'clock in America. And I tuned in to see they had, I think it was George Soros or one of those arseholes. They were interviewing him, and I wanted to see what he had to say about the markets and that. This is about 15 months ago, about a year, 15 months ago, and I turned on one of those channels, and there were all these guys playing poker, and there was a paddy there, an Irish fella called Donnacha O'Dea, I think it was. There's one of them anyway, and he was playing this guy, and I just was fascinated because I know Donnacha O'Dea, like I know him from way back. He's the same age as me, and I was involved in the same sort of game. I was involved in swimming with him at one stage, and that's how I know him. And anyway, he was playing this guy, so that's what brought this guy up. Like, I remember this guy's name and all that he was a Greek, and he was a major property developer and all. AIB loaned him nearly £1 billion, 750 million, and he lost them between 50 and 60 million so far. They're still not out of it. So I tell you, it's unbelievable stuff. The whole thing's unbelievable. You couldn't dream all this up. But anyway, so lots of problems for AIB, and in turn for us, because they've dumped all the problems on us with the NAM and all the rest of it. Okay. Next thing is Fentanyl O'Toole. I think it's a wonderful article from the Irish Times, and just gives you a comparison how the state deals with AIB, Bank of Ireland, and Anglo-Irish banks, and how it deals with this Post Bank, which is like a little people's bank. Okay. And when I say that, it's probably not like a little people's bank, but it doesn't matter. It's a small type of a bank. It has a total deposit book of 450 million. That's less than £500 million. Okay. It has 170,000 clients throughout Ireland in 1,000 post offices. So that'll give you an idea of what we're talking about. It's gone to the wall. Gone. By the end of this year, gone out of Ireland. Okay. But Anglo-Irish still pumping money into it. You see, it's what class of people? That's what it is. The Postbank people are just ordinary Joes, a couple of €1,000 and all that sort of stuff, okay? The Anglo-Irish team, different ballgame altogether. They're the people that Lenihan and all his cohorts at the upper echelons of Fianna Fáil, all arslick and brown nose on a big scale. So they can't be allowed to fail. No. They're our buddies. We have to look after them. They're the ones give us the brown envelopes. We arslick them and turn and go to the races with them and enjoy dinners with their wives, etc., and all the rest of it, and themselves. Friggin' Brian Keane doesn't look like he can get another bit of duck in him, does he? Looks like he's about to explode. Anyway, that's the way of it. It's a crazy business, but this little bank with all these little depositors, it can go to the wall. And what'll happen, they're hoping, is the money will be taken out of there. It's only a small amount of money, but it'll go into AIB and Bank of Ireland and all that. Anyway, sad reflection of the times we live in. One law for them. I'm sure it's always been that way. One law for the elite, another law for us. I want to talk about these 5 things, and I'm only going to be able to touch on them because I don't have enough time. I'm running out of time here, okay? And the 5 things relate to the sort of, I'd say you probably wouldn't want to, or you probably wouldn't need to involve yourself in all 5, but if you implemented a couple of them, I'd say it would help the circumstances of most people. The first thing is get rid of your credit card if it's possible, because by the end of this year, credit card charges in Ireland are going to be around about 22 to 25% right across the board, and I'm sure it'll be worse for some of these credit card companies, like the ones that are run by the American credit cards companies that we have here. All right, the likes of MBNA and all that sort of stuff. All right, that's number one. The second thing then is, don't buy anything unless you really have to. Do not buy anything unless you really have to. I know that's difficult, but that's number 2. The third thing then is, get into something like silver, okay, as a hedge against inflation. Because I don't give a monkey's what these guys all tell you on YouTube about deflation. We're on a deflationary spiral and all. Please believe me, this inflation is going to start very shortly, and when it does, it is going to rocket. And the money, paper money, fiat money, is going to be worth very, very little, I can assure you. It's going to go down very, very quickly in value, because they have increased the amount of fiat money that's in circulation by a huge amount. They're throwing money at people right, left and centre all around the world. Not at you or I, I'm not necessarily you or I, but at these elite to buy up all the assets that they want. Okay? And the amount of money that's just around is colossal in comparison with what so it devalues what's already there. It's a simple thing. If somebody tells you there's 10,000 of X and another 10,000's produced, what's already there is halved in value. You know where I'm coming from. It's not rocket science, any of this. Then the final 2 things are basically get an alternative fuel source. In other words, don't be dependent just on gas or electricity or something like that. Get a little stove or get something as an alternative, because things could turn ugly, and if they do, you want to have enough fuel for a while, a short period of time, right? And then the final thing is just get some food together, and by food I mean food that'll keep for 6 months to a year. I'm talking about stuff like pasta, rice, and jarred stuff and tin stuff, and you don't need to spend a fortune on it. Just to spend a small amount of money and you'll have enough for 3 to 4 weeks, and it'll keep you going for 3 or 4 weeks. And we talk about all this tomorrow, okay? Thanks very much.